Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Ganis with the Biamp marketing team, and I'm thrilled to welcome everyone to this webinar on Evoko Workplace. Our technical support supervisor, Mike Neufer, will be reviewing how to configure the Evoko Workplace app, initiating the trial license, and adding desks and workspaces. In this webinar, he will show you how to use the app with the Evoko Cleo and Naso. For anyone interested, there will be a separate follow-up webinar on June 20th on connecting Evoko Workplace to Microsoft Office 365. You can sign up for that session on biamp.com. Okay, then let's get started. Mike, take it away.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So as Joe mentioned, my name is Mike. I am a technical supervisor here at Biamp, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Evoko Workplace and exploring desk booking. On our agenda today, we will talk largely about the custom-built Evoko Cleo desk booker hardware that you see to my right here. We'll dive a little bit into the Evoko Workplace system architecture. We will talk different setup options and customer journeys for the installation. And then we'll actually dive into a couple of exercises of creating a workplace and making some buildings and adding some workstations to our workspace. Towards the end of the session today, we'll talk a little bit about the trial license that all of you can start and enable yourself. And hopefully by the end of the workshop today, you'll have a better understanding of largely what the Evoko workplace system consists of. So off the start today, I'd like to really just talk about the Cleo desk booker hardware. And I want to introduce that, with desk booking, employees can easily find and book a desk or search for where your colleagues are scheduled throughout the day. With this desk booker, we can, book directly on the unit itself. We could extend or end sessions as well on the device's touchscreen. And it's extremely easy to book anywhere using the Evoko Workplace application that we'll discuss here in a little bit. On the screen, you see, 4 images here of the actual Cleo, and I'd like to just run through the colors and what they represent here. On the far left, you see desk A15. The desk is available, the green color indicating that the desk is unoccupied, that it's available to be booked. To the right, we have an amber color here. We refer to this as the check-in color. This color is indicating that at the moment, the desk is actually available, but there is an upcoming booking within a specific amount of time, say maybe 10, 15 minutes. So it's letting the users know that the desk is actually available, but soon to be occupied. We also have this red color here. This red color indicates that somebody has actually booked the space, indicating to users around them that the desk is taken. And then once the desk is actually booked, we introduced a 4th color here called focus. And this is a way that users can interact on the display and simply indicate to people around them that they need to focus, that they can't be bothered. Maybe they have their head down and they need to work on a few things. It's a quick and easy way for just for users to let other users around them know if they're available. When it comes to the setup options of the Cleo itself, there's 2 flexible ways that you can actually install this product. On the far left side, you see the desk booker sitting on top of the desk, kind of like how you see here in my video. And then there's also a way for you to actually mount the device on the front edge of the desk. Maybe there's some of those stand sit desks, or users want to have the functionality on the outside of the desk. You can actually remove the housing that we'll talk about here in a minute, and that piece can actually mount directly under or on the edge of the desk. If we take a look at what's included in the box here, you can see the main unit on the far left is what's included. That desk stand that I talked about that can be removable, so it can actually pull the desk stand just like this right off the unit itself. There's also a sensor unit that comes in the box. This would sit underneath the desk and would allow for the device to see if there was a body per se in front of it. And then there's also some cable ties. So Running out of the unit itself here is a USB-C that plugs into the sensor, and then from the sensor itself, you would need to plug into an AC power supply. The cable ties are here just to kind of help manage and route those cables under the table. But everything you see here is included in the box. So let's talk a little bit about the workplace suite desk architecture. And before we go into the actual system architecture, I just wanted to touch base on a couple of bullet points right here. And I wanted to emphasize that our room booking and desk solutions have been used worldwide since 2010. Many governments, banks, and defense contractors have opted to use our products within their organization. And largely, the workplace suite consists of a software application, along with some custom-built booking devices like the Cleo that you see. Hardware and software used by the Cleo Desk Manager is custom-built, and this software is specifically designed for the Cleo Desk Manager itself. And at Evoko, security is always a top priority of ours. So this product has been developed to be a highly secure enterprise-grade solution following the industry guidelines here. Okay. If I bring up an image here of the workplace suite desk architecture, it's a pretty simple architecture when it comes to desks. On the left-hand side, you see the workplace admin center. That's what we're going to dive into in a few minutes. This is all kind of connecting through what we refer to as the Evoko Workplace Cloud, completely cloud hosted. And then we have a mobile app that runs on iOS and Android that allows both users and administrators to configure and book the devices. And then lastly, we have the physical Cleo desk managers that are also connected to the cloud. So the three pieces of technology that we're going to be talking about today largely are the Evoko Workplace Admin Center, the Evoko Workplace mobile application, and then the hardware devices themselves. When we talk about the Evoko Cleo Desk Booker, there's a number of ways that you can use the devices. We can use the devices in what we refer to as the software-only option. And that would be allowing your users to book through what we call the Evoko Workplace mobile app. You can find your desks, your spaces, your colleagues, and your rooms if you even have that connected. But it doesn't require any hardware, so you necessarily wouldn't use the hardware devices themselves. You would take a software approach through the mobile app to simply do your booking. The next option we have is the hardware-only option, and that would actually be booking all of your bookings directly on the device itself. So not necessarily using the workplace mobile application, but rather, walking up to the device and using, your access control card or your RFID card, or even interacting on the display itself to book the space. Now, the third option we have is kind of best of both worlds, where you get the combination of using the hardware itself and also unlocking the ability to book the spaces through the workplace mobile application. And with this last install, ideally that's most of the installs we see in the wild here, a combination of end users using both the hardware and the software. But what I really wanted to touch base on here is that regardless of the type of install that you're going to take as an end user, the journey is pretty much the same for all three installs. Largely, all of the steps remain the same except for the last one or two steps, depending on your installation process. So it's great to see that regardless of how you're configuring the devices, the journey for the setup is quite simple and quite streamlined, and we'll cover that here in a few minutes. So just wanted to share the customer journey there. At this point, what I'd like to do is I'd like to do an exercise here and navigate to the Evoko app. So if I open up my browser and I navigate to evoko.app, I'm actually greeted here on a landing page. It says, Evoko Workplace, and this is really where we kind of get started to configure our workplace and get our devices set up. So the very first step we would need to do is actually register for a workplace account. That's very simple. If you click on register, there's a number of different ways that you can actually register your workplace account. We're familiar with registering through these means like Google and Microsoft and with Apple, where you could kind of use your single sign-on email address and password to register an account with the Evoko Workplace. Or you could take the route of just using your email address and your name as your login here. I've actually gone ahead and I've created an account to kind of save us some time today. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click this sign in button and sign in with an account that I've made with Microsoft prior. So I'm just signing in with this webinars at demo.evoko.se. And it brings me to this landing page that says, hey, are you ready to get to work? So you'll notice I'm actually greeted with an add organization button here. If I click that add organization button, I'm presented with two options. I can join an already existing organization, or I can create myself my own brand new organization. For the exercise today, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new organization. So I'm going to go ahead and press on create organization, and I'm going to be prompted to provide an organization name. Okay, so my organization name will be Biamp Workplace Demo. This is essentially what I'm just going to call my organization. Later down the line, if I wanted to invite users to this organization, or if I wanted to share this organization, the organization ID here that you see would be the value that users would need to actually get access to the company or the org that I'm setting up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to check this box. I'm going to press the get started button. And this will bring me to a landing page. And I'm going to pause here because I just want to point out a few things. But within the Evoko Workplace, there is what's called a getting started section. Okay, and this getting started section is really the bare minimum of what you have to do to kind of get your desks configured and set up. There's a number of other settings and actions that we can do to kind of really tailor this system. But what this getting started section does is it says, hey, focus on these 4 steps here. And this will really get you to the completion of activating your hardware and getting your mobile app configured correctly. Okay, so there's 4 steps here. We see add buildings, floors, add some desks, install and connect our devices, and then activate desk booking software. On the far right here, there's some options that say learn how. And I just want to point out that these learn how links actually link over to Biamp Cornerstone, for those of you that are familiar with Cornerstone. And those links actually bring you to this getting started section that walks you through step by step on how to complete that specific task. So although this is very self-driven and this is easy to navigate, we do have articles here if users want to take a few minutes and dive a little bit deeper on what those steps actually look like. Okay, so the first step that I'm going to do today with you guys is we're going to add some buildings and we're going to add some floors. So when I click on that, it prompts me here for a building name. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to name this, main office. And we're going to name this, 1 infinite loop as the address. And then I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm actually going to scroll down and set the time zone here for America, New York. And my default language is set to English. Currently, my time formats, it's asking me. I'm here in the States, so I'm going to opt to select the 12-hour time zone. And then my opening hours can actually differ. Maybe some buildings have 24-hour access and some buildings don't, or some buildings just have limited hours of access. You can kind of tailor those on a per building basis. So once I have my building information in here, I'm going to go ahead and click Add Building. And you'll see it's made my main office, and I can see some of the settings that I have just applied. It also gives me the ability here to add a floor. So I'm going to go ahead and press the add floor button, and we're just going to call this, floor 1, and we'll add, and I'm going to call maybe floor 2, and we'll make this level 1. And I can see my floors have been added. I'm notified here saying, hey, I'm missing a couple floor plans. I don't really have any desks there just yet. But you can start to see that my building has been built with my floors here. If I navigate back to my guides, I just want to point out that the checklist actually indicates that I've completed that task now. So now it's challenging me to go ahead and add some desks to my locations. So if I navigate over to desks here, I have an option to add some desks. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to name this desk, desk 001. And I'm going to hit cancel, actually. I'm going to move back to the guides, and I'm going to move over to desks here. If I navigate to my buildings, I can see I have a couple of other options here. I have a floor plan creator. I have a couple of ways I can upload, like a JPEG or a PNG. So for example, I'm just going to create a floor plan here. I have some images that I've saved, so I'm just going to move over to my desktop, and I'm going to import this this PNG of this office. There's a couple different options here. I can invert the colors from white to black. I kind of like this this dark theme a little bit, and I can play with the contrast a little bit. So if I want to make this a little bit brighter, I can. If I don't want to, I can leave it where it is. But I'm going to go ahead and press save. When I do that, if I navigate back to my my floors, you can see that I've added a floor plan to my floor 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and just do the same behavior with the floor 2. I have another floor plan here. I'm going to upload, and I'm going to bring this one in. So I've gone ahead, I've added some floor plans, I've created my buildings. What I'm going to do is go ahead and add some desks. So let's add desk 00, let's call it desk 1. We'll add it to main floor. And then we'll add desk 2. We'll also add it to floor 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and add about 5 desks here. I'll add desk 3 to floor 2. I'll add desk 4 to floor 2. And then I will add desk 5 to floor 2. So I have a ton of desks added here. These names will actually be the names that are shown as I book the desk. This pencil icon lets me go in and kind of change this name if I wanted to make it desk 6, or if I wanted to save anything. It's in real time. So whatever you're changing here, it'll actually change within the mobile app and the devices itself. So the next thing I want to do is I want to navigate back to my buildings, and you'll see that I have some unassigned desks now that I've added them. So if I click this this pencil button here and I scroll down to floor 1, you'll notice that I have some desks that I can add here once I do edit floor plan. I have desk 1 and desk 2 that we've just added to the system. If I click and drag this desk to the location on top of the image, it drops kind of a little circle as to where I want that desk to be represented. So I just drug desk 1 to here. I'm going to go ahead and actually drag desk 2 to here. And I can manipulate these circles and move these circles. And I can actually make these circles a little bit larger to accommodate the floor plan that I have here. So I've added those 2 desks to my floor plan. Going to go ahead and press save. I'm going to jump back to my other floor, and we're going to do the same for floor 2. So floor 2 had 3 desks that were unassigned. I'm going to go in here and press edit floor plan, and here I can do the same thing. I can drag my desk and move it to the specific location of where I want that desk to be, and then I can go ahead and press save. So I've added my desks, and I've gotten them into a location of where I want them to be. So I've pretty much accomplished the first two steps here. All right, so I've added my buildings, I've added my floors. Right now, what I should be required to do is actually move on and install and connect these devices. Okay, there's two ways how that is approached ultimately. In the mobile app that I have here brought up on this side, I can navigate to the Evoko Workplace application that we've just created. So this is a mobile app running on the iOS store and on the Android store that allows you to kind of log in and book the spaces that we've just created. Okay. I want to point out here down at the bottom, there's just a house icon and a gear icon. In order to unlock the ability for users to book through this mobile application, what needs to happen is a license needs to be applied to the Workplace Admin Center. So if I navigate back to my settings here and I go to desk booking, I'm greeted with a whole bunch of settings here for desk booking if I turn that on. There's a setting here that says activate desk booking software license, and this allows desks to be booked within the Workplace application. If I go ahead and I push that button, it's actually going to prompt me and say, hey, you know, the features that you're trying to turn on and you're trying to use, they require a license in order to actually fulfill that. So at this point, you would need to enter your license key that you've been provided by Biamp. If you want to, there is a 60-day free trial that will allow you to unlock upwards to 10,000 desks. And that will last for 60 days. So it's more of like an a la carte. You get access to all of the features and benefits that the desk booking solution would offer. And then at the end of that 60 days, you would be prompted to actually use a license and have a license. Okay. For today, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start the 60-day free trial. And what this will allow us to do is this will allow us to actually activate the desk booking portion and software of the application. All right. If I navigate back to settings and I go to licenses, you can tell that my trial license has actually been activated here. I can see I have, you know, up to 10,000 desks for 60 days, and I could see the actual expiration date of when the trial license would expire. What's really cool about the trial license is your workplace will remain. So if you've added buildings and you've added floors and you've added desks, all of that information will remain here within the Evoko Workplace Cloud. So you could actually use the trial license to demo or try the product and actually roll that same environment into your production environment if you wanted to. So if I navigate back to desk booking here, I see my my software license has been activated and it's turned on. I just want to run through some of the desk booking settings real quick before we jump over to the actual mobile app itself. But this pane is where you will find all the settings to be applied for actual booking. All right, so you can limit the amount of days in advance that users can book through the mobile app. You can kind of set a specific time of when that 7th day starts and ends. We can also book how long in terms of hours that the actual desk or space can be booked for. Maybe we don't want anybody to book any of these spaces for more than 2-hour increments. I could simply change that 8-hour to 2, and then the max that any user could book would be for 2-hour time increments. The default booking duration would be when you actually physically walk up to one of these devices and book directly on the display. It'll prompt and say, hey, you know, how long do you want that default booking to actually last for? Okay. Here we have it set to default 1 hour. Most installs tend to go that route as well. We've covered this this setting right here, activate desk booking software license. The one underneath it says allow remote check-in. For those of you that aren't familiar with the check-in function, check-in actually requires users to interact with the device to actually say that they're there. So maybe I book a space from home through the mobile application. there's actually a way that you can check into the desk using the mobile application. We call that remote check-in. So you could turn that feature on or off. And then we also have allow QR code check-in. So maybe if you aren't using the hardware devices, you can actually print out a QR code, place it right there on top of the desk, and users can scan that QR code to check in to the desk or the mobile app itself. Then we also have automatic check-in. If this is turned on, what this utilizes is the sensor that I talked about before that comes in the box. That little sensor will sit underneath the table. If we have this turned on, if that unit is expecting a booking and somebody sits down, that color of the device will change from green to red. Underneath here, we have some RFID settings. So RFID is built into these products. You could use your access control badge or any RFID badge to kind of acknowledge who you are in front of the device. And there's a couple of settings that you could tailor with that. If you do not require any type of RFID booking on the display, the device won't be able to tell who's actually doing the booking. So we encourage users to use RFID, because if I were to walk up to one of these and use my RFID, it would actually show my name as the bookie on here instead of it simply being anonymous. And then the same thing applies for check-in, right? If do I want people to be able to be using their RFID badge to check into the desks? What that would cut down on is if somebody tries checking into my desk with their RFID badge, it's simply going to say, hey, you're not the user that we were anticipating to check in, and therefore they wouldn't be able to take my space. And then lastly, we're asking here if we want to require any type of identification when we're changing or manipulating any type of booking information. So maybe we want to extend the time that we've booked directly on the display itself, or maybe we want to shorten the time. Maybe we want to cut the time down by an hour. We can require users to actually use their RFID to do that, because it gives a sense of kind of ownership to where you can track down the responsibilities of that specific user. So just wanted to jump through the settings real quick here. And now that I've actually turned on the Activate Desk Booking software license, if I close out of my app and I reload, I now have a desk booking icon down here. Okay, so this button that you see here, Activate Desk Booking Software License, is a direct reflection of making this button available for your users to book. Okay, so let's run through some of these options down here on the mobile app. Now that we're looking at this, if I start from the bottom right-hand side, you'll see I have a gear icon. The gear icon brings me to a number of different settings here within the mobile app. I can view my account. I can change the name that I have associated with my account. I can update my password here for my workplace account if I deem to. I also have an option here for workplaces, and here I only have one workplace listed. But what's unique about the Evoko workplaces is users can be a part of multiple different workplaces if they want to. So, for example, if I know I'm going to be visiting, Apple, and I have some desks at Apple, I could actually have access to Apple's desks, and then walk across the street and maybe have access to some of Microsoft's desks too. It's a unique way for you to kind of be a part of multiple organizations and have access to all of the spaces within each organization. Underneath workplaces, we have privacy policy. Not much there. You can click on that and scroll through it. Could take a couple minutes to read. But what's really important about this tab is the device setup here, this tools section. And this tools section is only going to be available for the workplace user that is an administrator. Okay, and really what this section of the app does is if we are using the hardware of the devices, these devices actually connect to the network via Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi connection. and you use this mobile application to essentially use NFC to send the configuration to the actual hardware device itself. So if we go through the device setup here, it's asking me to say, hey, select a device. I can pick the Cleo. It's going to ask me the Wi-Fi network credentials that I want to use to get this device specifically on that network. Once I have my credentials entered, it'll bring up all of the desks that we've actually just added here in our system. I can see the desks and the floors that they're associated with. If I go ahead and I select desk 2, what this is asking me to do is this is asking me to walk over to an unconfigured device and actually use the NFC for a handshake. What will happen is the very first thing that's shared with the device is the Wi-Fi credentials. So the device will actually get online. And then once the device is online, it'll actually reach out to our cloud and pull down the configuration for the desk that we've chosen. So I'm not going to go ahead and claim and configure these two devices. They are actually already configured. But I just kind of wanted to show you what that looked like from an administrative perspective when you are setting up these devices. Okay, it's worth to note that only admins will actually have this device setup section within their settings. Okay, if your normal users that book desks were to go into this gear icon here, they simply would not have this section available for them. So this same mobile app that the end users use to book the desks is the same mobile app that admins would use to configure the devices. Okay. A couple more things down here. I could sign out of my account here, maybe if I wanted to just log into a different workplace account. There's also an area down here that we refer to as the danger area. If you wanted to delete your Evoko workplace account and any history associated with it, you could actually follow the steps here. Just be careful. If you do that, it does delete, all your bookings and everything you've done before. But there is a way for users to go in here and kind of trash any information that they've had within the Evoko workplace. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to navigate back to this home icon in the bottom left-hand corner here. And this will bring me to the main page here that I see. Now that I've added desks and I've activated the desk booking license, if I press on the chair icon here, I'm greeted by the floor plans of my main office that we saw. So if I tap on main office up top here, if I were to have maybe a satellite office or a third building, they would all be listed here, and I could toggle between the buildings and see the floors themselves of what the spaces look like. So right now I'm looking at floor 1, I'm looking at floor 2, and from this view I can tell that all 5 of these desks are actually unoccupied. The green color here is indicating that nobody is actually using those spaces. Okay. Let's say I wanted to jump in and I wanted to get some more information on floor 2. I could actually press on floor 2, and it will give me the bird's eye view of the floor plan that I've uploaded prior here on the admin side. Okay, and there's a couple things I can do from this menu. I can zoom in and take a look at the the floor plan itself. There also is a little tag down here where I can pull up a list of the desks that are located in that specific area. So depending on really what fits your needs and what you like, you can use the list of rooms here. Or if you're looking for a specific space that might be by a window or by another colleague, you can look at this floor map and go, okay, this is really desk 4. That's really where I want to sit for the time that I'm booking. Okay. So for this exercise, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to press book. And it's prompting me for the times that I'd like to book that space for. Looks like it's default for an hour. I'm going to go ahead and just change that to be a 2-hour booking. So I'd like to book that from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and press the book button, and now it's asking me to confirm. So all of that information looks correct. Desk 4, floor 2, today 10:30 to 12:30. I will go ahead and press book. Once I press book, you'll notice that I'm greeted now on the main page with all of the bookings that I have for for the day. Any of my future bookings would also show up here, depending on how far they are in the future. So if I had a space booked for tomorrow, I would actually have tomorrow and then the space listed for the time and the location. But because I've booked this for today and because I've had check-in turned on, the feature to actually acknowledge and say that I'm here in front of the desk, I can click on that booking and actually modify it if I want to. So if I want to cancel for any reason, I could simply cancel the booking from here. Or if I wanted to maybe change the duration or the time of when I booked that space, I could press modify, and then I could actually go back and manipulate those times. Okay. Depending on when my check-in window is turned on, I will have the ability to actually select this here and check in and say, hey, I'm confirming that I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to use this space. If I don't check in, what essentially happens is the booking will get canceled, and then the space will become available for somebody else to book. So that check-in function is there to kind of cut down on no-shows and people that are booking spaces, but not necessarily showing up to them. Okay. A couple more things I just want to kind of run through here. We have our users section. And this is where we can start inviting users to our workplace. All right. If I wanted to invite a user, I could simply press on the invite user option. I could, jump in and put a email here. And then there's a number of different kind of user levels that users can have. Simply, the user is giving people the ability to book the desk through the mobile application. Okay. The owner is essentially the only user that can delete an organization. Think of them as being like a super admin. They kind of have the highest tier privilege of any user. They also can book rooms, but they also have the ability to kind of log in through the admin side and change anything that they wish. Okay. Org admins and desk admins have very similar kind of permissions compared to the owner. They just can't delete organizations. So they could go in and they could edit desks, they could edit buildings, they could change booking settings if they'd like, but they just don't have the privilege of deleting the organization if need be. Now, when we sit here, it'd be kind of cumbersome to have to invite every single user to this to this organization. So what we've implemented here is something that we refer to as whitelisting a domain. Okay, and basically what this means is we could go ahead and we could create our workplace and we can set up our buildings and add a whole bunch of desks. And then when we're ready to kind of roll it out to our users and to the people at our organization, instead of having to roll that out individually one by one, what we can do is we can whitelist the domain of our company. Okay, so we could actually say, hey, anybody with the biamp.com email address, if they go ahead and they create an Evoko workplace account, they will automatically get access to all of these buildings, right? So you don't then have to go and invite multiple users. You don't have to do them one by one. It's simply kind of trusting but verifying. It's saying, hey, if this user can prove that they have a a biamp.com domain or any specific domain that we want to dictate, it can kind of bypass the invite and automatically give them access when they set up. So that's been pretty useful for these enterprise rollouts where you have thousands of users that you want to get access to a system, and you want to do it pretty quickly and efficiently. So I just wanted to share that the whitelisted domains makes this much more smooth if you're rolling this out to a pretty large organization. Okay. In my organization settings, since we're here, I'll just roll through a couple of these. Think of them being your overall hierarchy settings of your organization. Okay, there's a feature we refer to as allow your friends to kind of find you per se. If I have some team members that are coming in for the day, I might want to know, where they are, right? So I can perhaps sit next to them or be in close proximity to them. You can allow users to toggle that setting on or off, where they can come into the mobile application here, and then under people, actually search to see, where people are sitting throughout the day. So I could see that my friend Daniel is sitting at desk 2 from 1 to 3, and then maybe he's in this room from 3 to 5. I can kind of see Daniel's entire schedule for the day if he is opting to share it with me. Okay. Default languages and time zones. So some companies tend to have buildings all over the world. You can default certain languages and certain times if you'd like, and then you can kind of tailor those settings on a more granular basis based upon the specific locations, right? Clearly, I'm not going to have New York time zone for an office in Dubai. We could tailor those settings specifically for that building, as well as our opening hours. I know I touched base on this a little bit earlier, but some buildings tend to be open 24 hours. Some buildings tend to have different hours, and here you can kind of set those on a per building basis if you'd like to. Outside of that, if I navigate to my devices and I click on Cleo Desk Manager, if I had any devices connected to my system right now in this workplace that we've just created, I could see their serial numbers. I could see the desks that they're associated with. I could see the firmware versions. I can really get a real-time kind of monitoring view of, the status of the hardware, regardless of where it is. I can filter it based upon, units sleeping or, units active. It kind of gives you, the 30,000-foot view of all of your devices and the health of your devices. I don't want to touch too much on overview screens here. There's a couple webinars coming in the future here in regards to the overview screens and connecting the Evoko workplace to Microsoft 365. But I do want to touch base on some of the insights here. So off the bat, we do capture insights within the Evoko workplace of desk utilization and desk bookings. So you can see some stats have already started to get created with some of the bookings that we've just done through the mobile app itself. But this type of data is captured here within the Evoko workplace, and users could take this data and export it to kind of whatever format they want to dive a little bit deeper. But I just wanted to touch base on the insights actually being a part of the system and the metrics actually being built into the cloud hosted software. Outside of that, if I navigate to my profile, if I was part of different organizations, I would have different admin dashboards. So maybe if I just created another organization or another company, I could actually be an admin for two different workplaces or two different companies. So I know I covered a lot there, and I know we're down to about 15 minutes. But that was a brief run through of really how to set up the Evoko workplace. That took us about 25 minutes to kind of run through at a slower pace to show how to add buildings and how to add floors and upload the floor plans.
Well, this is a fantastic presentation, Mike. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone again who joined us today. If you have any questions about Evoko Workplace, please reach out to Mike or myself, or visit us at biamp.com or on Cornerstone for technical support. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.